Everybody, yeah, come on in. Got a unique one for y'all today. What's up, Malik? What's up, Alexis? Y'all come on in. What's up, Jevin? What's up, Annabelle? What's up, Malcolm? We'll give him another minute, y'all, and we'll get started. Gonna go and jump into this one. What's up, Robbie? Yeah, come on in. All right. How about we go and get it in? What's up, Jamisha? How about we go and get it in? How about we go and talk about the Psions? I know, for your mental / emotional empaths to be the majority of the planet, you know very little about their particular area of expertise. You see what I'm saying? As a Jedi, I can go and find a whole fucking mythology. As a wizard, I can go find a whole bunch of mythologies. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, hell, you name it. Shit, but when you come to them Psions, it's real hard to figure out or put it all together like it is with the physical empaths and the soul empaths, the wizards and the warriors, right? The Jedi, right? The Magi and the Jedi. So it's real hard for a Psion, a mental empath / emotional empath, to find their way down here because they don't have the information well put together enough to figure it out. You see what I'm saying? It's like scattered all over the places. It's not many. It's a few movies out there that we're gonna discuss, but it ain't like mainstream like the other two are. You see what I'm saying? Even though, which is weird because the majority of the planet is mental / emotional empaths. Then soul empaths, then physical empaths like myself. So, let's begin. Now, the word psi, it's a Greek terminology. Will just mean power or spiritual. So psi actually means spiritual mind. You see what I'm saying? To be precise, psi means spiritual mind. Now, what is psi energy? It is mental energy, or the mental force of your consciousness. Or, to be precise, it is mental energy, which is your consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Psi energy is your consciousness, your mental awareness, your mental functions, your mental power. You see what I'm saying? Your mental energy, everything that accounts for that makes up what we call the mind. You see what I'm saying? Your psychology. You see what I'm saying? They call it parapsychology, the spiritual study of the mind. You see what I'm saying? So, what is the language of psi energy? The language of psi energy is imagery, or the imagination. You see what I'm saying? The imagination. The image nation. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Sherry? What's up, Cam Lish? The image nation. What do we mean by that? What is an image? It is a picture that speaks 1,000 words, because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? It's a picture, a picture that speaks 1,000 words, and a nation of those images could mean thousands, millions upon interpretations, because just one picture worth 1,000 words. So 10 pictures is worth what? 10,000 words, and so on and so forth. So all this constitutes your imagination. When your consciousness gets into motion and it wants to speak to you through intuitive ways, it will speak to you most of the time through your imagination. You get visions. You also get sensory perceptions as well. Like, you can hear into the ethers, you can smell into the ethers, you can taste into the ethers, you can touch into the ethers. You know, your psychic senses. See what I'm saying? All the way down. You see what I'm saying? So, but the main thing that your consciousness speaks in is imagery. See what I'm saying? Because even if you absorb enough sound, your mind does what? It creates an image or an idea of what's creating that sound once it gains what? Enough information. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's what the language of psi energy is. Now, next, what is a psion? You see what I'm saying? I know y'all haven't really heard that term like that. What's up, John Darius? What is a psion? A psion is one who studies and practices the ways of psionics, or the psionic arts. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. A practitioner of these psionic arts. One who has learned to fully harness their mental powers, that psi force inside of them. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. Now, what is psionics? Psionics is the study and practice of manipulating psi energy. You see what I'm saying? Is the psion is the actual practitioner, the person. Then psionics is the field. You see what I'm saying? In which you are using these energies. You see what I'm saying? You're studying and utilizing the energies to the best of your abilities. So that's what psionic is. Now, what if we used to say, what law is psi energy based on? And there's only one, the law of mentalism. All is mental, mind is all. Of course, because we're dealing with the psychic energy, the psychological side, the mind. So, of course, the law of mentalism will rule this realm. You see what I'm saying? Will rule this realm. You see what I'm saying? So, how do psions start off? You know, how does this work? Of course, any good psion start off as what? An emotional empath. Yep. They start off as emotional empaths. Then, as they begin to level up, get stronger, believe in themselves, and stabilize their emotional bodies and emotional senses, they upgrade to psychics. See what I'm saying? Which is the mid-tier level. The mid-tier level. Now, as a psychic, they can see, hear, feel, taste, and touch with their psychic senses. Their psychic body is activated. You see what I'm saying? It's activated to a higher degree than when they were just using their emotional body. You see what I'm saying? Now they're using their mental body. So what is the mental body, the psychic body related to? It's related to your nervous systems. You see what I'm saying? If you had to ask yourself, what anatomical system is the psychic body connected with? And the answer is, it's connected to your nervous system. So your nervous systems is the mental bodies. You see what I'm saying? So next, when we dealing with this psychic energy, so you develop your psychic powers, you get stronger, you know, you developing your mental prowess, you becoming more of a mental empath now. You see what I'm saying? You up here now. You in your consciousness now. You see what I'm saying? You mastered your clairvoyance. You can see without time, retrovoyance. You clairaudience. You know, your psychic. You harness the powers of your psychic body. So once you learn to harness the powers of your psychic body, you know, build it up, get stronger. And like anybody, the more you use it, the stronger you get. The stronger the muscles get. See what I'm saying? What's up, Isaiah? I see what I'm saying? Stronger the muscles get, right? So what happens next? You upgrade to a Psion. You see what I'm saying? Well, now you're on the level. Now you fully immersed in that mental plane and could use those mental capabilities to the best of your abilities. You see what I'm saying? So this is what you got going on now. Now those are the levels: emotional empath, psychic, Psion. See what I'm saying? Just like for a physical empath is what? Is physical empath, monk, then Jedi. Or for a soul empath, it's like soul empath. Then you got like that wizard level, and then you become a full-fledged magi. You see what I'm saying? Where you just become a fucking monster. You see what I'm saying? You can do things with magic that most people would only dream of, right? What's up, Davari? But with the emotional, the mental empath is emotional, psychic, Psion. So now, let's continue with our teachings here. Let's continue here. Let's continue. I'm gonna be reading a lot from this because I don't wanna miss nothing here. So the psychic body, like I said, anatomically is known as the nervous system, right? Now that we understand how this works, we're gonna get into the abilities and everything too. Next, we're gonna talk about some sciences that all science should study. One, the study of neurons. You know, what are neurons? Neurons are nerve cells that specialize in transmitting nerve impulses. You see what I'm saying? From to and fro throughout your nervous body, your nervous system. You see what I'm saying? Then you got neurology, which deals with the study of the nervous systems as how they function, how they work, how it operates. You know, the more knowledge you have of this system, the stronger your psychic energy can become, because it's easier for that psychic power to flow through you if you know how the system operates, right? Then you have neuropathy, which is a study of the dysfunctions of the nerves. You know, how what happens when they get damaged, when they're not operational. You know, it's always good to know that as well, just in case something happens and you know what it is, so you can prepare and heal yourself properly. You see what I'm saying? Or you're gonna have to do what you need to do to work through it. What's up, Diana? So next, you got neurolinguistics, which deals with the structure and functioning and language of the brain. See what I'm saying? So now you get into real psychology. You see what I'm saying? You know, you got Freudian psychology, then you got Jung's psychology. Freudian deals with the ego, the superego, and the id. You see what I'm saying? The ego is pretty much earthly consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Human consciousness, base consciousness, right? The superego is the environmental consciousness. How your ego relates to the rest of the world. You see what I'm saying? So it connects to the world ego. See what I'm saying? Before you get into the occult side, which is Jung's, when you get into the psyche, which is your true spiritual self, and then you find out that the egos only account for like 10% of the brain. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the id. The id is your desires, your impulses. You see what I'm saying? Your ambitions, stuff like that. That's what the id represents. Your urges, you know. So this is what you got going on. What you dealing with that Freudian and that they call Jungian energy, that Jungian energy. So next, you got neuro-linguistic programming. What is that? Now, if neurology is the study of the brain, then neuro-linguistic programming take it to the next level. It says here, it is a science that teaches people are only able to directly perceive a small part of the world using their conscious awareness, and that this view of the world is filtered by experience, beliefs, values, assumptions, and biological sensory systems. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, argues that people act and feel based on their perception of the world, how they feel about their world. They subjectively, which is mentally, experience. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, neuro-linguistic program studies the behavior patterns, how everything works, how you see the world, how you view the world through your eyes, because you are your own author, you are your own story, and you are your own dimension living in your own world, and you have your own characters, you have everything. You pretty much your own mythology. You see what I'm saying? Marvin Jones living out his own mythology. You see what I'm saying? Just like y'all living out y'all own mythologies. And so, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, teaches me that because I'm living out my own mythology, I see the world a certain way, and it's filtered by my beliefs, what I think, what I like, how I feel about it, and how I mentally perceive the world. So if I mentally perceive the world and think I'm God or a Titan, then the world is responding to the fact that I'm God or Titan, and because of my point of view, because it's my story. You see what I'm saying? That's why we tell you that you guys are Titans. So you perceive the world that way, and the world begins to, at first it starts off as a belief, then it becomes a knowing. And when that happens, the world begins to bend to your perception. See what I'm saying? They call it sleight of hand. Well, what I told y'all about sleight of hand. Sleight of hand 101 is what? Control the perception and you control the reality. So if they can manipulate your perception for you, then why can't you manipulate your own perception and create your world the way you want it to? See what I'm saying? NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. See what I'm saying? So this is what they do. This is what they do, and they have all type of techniques and sciences, you know, that let you know that what this is about. What this is about. Let's see here. Let's see. It's probably one of the biggest sciences that a science supposed to know. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. Let me find some of the things they got going on here for y'all. I wrote some of this down. Let us see. Yeah, they even got their own language with this shit, y'all. When you read into it. Check this out. NLP teaches that language and behaviors, whether functional or dysfunctional, are highly structured, and that this structure can be modeled or copied into a reproducible form. Using NLP, a person can model the more successful parts of their own behavior in order to reproduce it in areas where they are less successful, or model another person to effect belief and behavior changes to improve functioning. If someone excels in some activity, it can be learned how specifically they do it by observing certain important details in their behavior. And NLP embodies several techniques, including hypnotic techniques, which proponents claim can affect changes in a lot of ways. You see what I'm saying? So they telling you right there how powerful this shit is. You see what I'm saying? It's a powerful. You just Wikipedia this, and they drop science on NLP. They drop fucking fire on NLP. You see what I'm saying? They drop fire. Check this out. NLP calls each individual's perception of the world their map. NLP teaches that our mind, body, neuro, and what we said language all interact together to form our perceptions of the world, or maps, programming. Each person's map of the world determines feelings and behavior. Therefore, impoverished and unrealistic maps, programs, can restrict choices and result in problems. As an approach to personal development or therapy, it involves understanding that people create their own internal map, program, or world, recognize unhelpful or destructive patterns of thinking based on impoverished maps of the world. Then modifying or replacing these patterns with more useful or helpful ones. What's up, Star? So what they saying is you create your own program. At first, you listen to the program of the world because that's what they feed you, and that's all you know. But once you start to take your consciousness back, you can alter and modify their programming, their internal maps that they fed you, and replace them with new maps, new programs that help and assist you on your path. You see what I'm saying? That's why you study. That's what the chakras is, study of the chakras and numerology and astrology and astronomy. You're replacing the old maps that they gave you with new teachings and new guidelines that help with your elevation and conscious growth. You see what I'm saying? That's what they got going on here. Yeah, so this NLP, it's deep, y'all. It's deep. Shit, it's deep. They even got techniques around here. You see what I'm saying? Let me see here. Let me see here. There's some of the techniques they got that I'm going to call out here. I know one is real powerful. We're going to start with, let me see. Let me pull it up. Let me put it up here. Report. Now, this is funny. Report, the first aspect of the NLP program is building rapport or empathy, and it's done to achieve better communication and responsiveness. NLP teaches mirroring or matching body language, posture, breathing, predicates and voice tonality. Rapport empathy is an aspect of pacing or tuning into the client or learner's world. Once pacing is established, the practitioner can lead by changing their behavior or perception so that others follow. O'Connor and Seymour, in introducing NLP, describe rapport as a harmonious dance, an extension of natural skills, but warns against mimicry, imitation. See what I'm saying? So that's what you got going on. That's just one of them. Let's see here. Let's see. Let me see here. Here go another one. Another technique, reframing, functions through changing the way you perceive an event and so changing the meaning of that event. When the meaning changes, responses and behavior. When the meaning changes, responses and behavior will also change. So that means if you change the meaning or the idea of the situation you in, the people around you, their behaviors will change according to your perception of what's going on. That's deep, right? That's super deep. Let's see here. So, let's see. Reframing with language allows you to see the world in a different way, and this changes the meaning. Reframing is the basis of jokes, myths, legends, fairy tales, and most creative ways of thinking. There are examples in children's literature. Pollyanna would play the glad game whenever she felt down about life, to remind herself of the things that she could do, and not worry about the things she couldn't. You see what I'm saying? That's an example. That's reframing. So let's continue here. Let us continue. Just a few of them here. Here go another one. Indirect communication. Pulled up the wrong one. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. Indirect communication. The third aspect of Milton model is that it is purposely vague and metaphorical for the purpose of accessing the unconscious mind. So they tell you right there that the whole point of indirect communication is so you can speak to the subconscious mind. Say, for example, if I yell at you, hi, or yell at you and say, hey, then that shocks you, right? But if I whisper to you, hey, then you can barely hear what I'm saying, but you still heard me, so your subconscious mind picked up on what I said. You see what I'm saying? Your subconscious mind. But it all depends on your tones. You see what I'm saying? If I whisper that same word, hey, or yelled it, hey, then you respond differently according to the energy. You see what I'm saying? The loudness of it shocks you, but the whisper forces you to lean in to hear what I had to say, because your subconscious mind picked up on it, but it didn't receive fully what you heard. And when you lean in to hear somebody, you can actually then, because your subconscious mind open to what you got to say, you can actually then whisper whatever you want to. You see what I'm saying? So that's what you got going on. Then you got overloading conscious attention. The second aspect of the Milton model is that it uses ambiguity in language and nonverbal communication. This might be combined with vagueness, which arises when the boundaries of meaning are indistinct. The use of ambiguity and vagueness distracts the conscious mind as it tries to work out what is meant, which gives the unconscious mind the opportunity to prosper. So they basically saying here that you're doing things to overload the conscious attention. Alright, a good example of that. I walk up to you, and then I just step off. That throws you off. That overloads your conscious attention because you didn't expect me to do that. You see what I'm saying? So that throws you off. So when I walk up to you, you started getting nervous because you like, hey, you almost failed. You good? You see what I'm saying? But a conscious person be like, who know NLP be like, oh yeah, you know I'm good. But you know what? I thank you for checking on me. And they would go on to say what they need to say. And it would shock you. They may say some things to you that would shock you, but because you already been shocked once, you are more readily able to receive that information. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Allison? So definitely. This NLP shit is crazy. This shit here something serious. Let's see here. Check this one out. It's called Swish. These are techniques that they using on us. The switch pattern is a process that is designed to disrupt a pattern of thought from one that used to lead to an unwanted behavior to one that leads to a desired behavior. This involves visualizing a cue, which leads to the unwanted behavior such as a smoker's hand moving towards the face with a cigarette in it, and reprogramming the mind to switch to a visualization of the desired outcome such as a healthy-looking person, energetic and fit. In addition to the visualization, auditory sound effects are often imagined to enhance the experience. Switch is one of the techniques that involves the manipulation of submodalities. So yeah, this go hard here. This go hard. So they basically just told you right there that you can, through visualization, through your imagination, you can alter your world by changing what's wrong. They literally say if you a smoker, don't visualize yourself smoking. Visualize yourself working out. You see what I'm saying? And if you know anything, if you visualize yourself working out, it's just as intense as you actually working out. You see what I'm saying? So the imagination is very real. You see what I'm saying? The imagination is very real. Here go another one. Anchoring. NLP teaches that we constantly make anchors, classical conditioning, between what we see, hear, and feel and our emotional states. While in an emotional state, if a person is exposed to unique stimulus, sight, sound, or touch, then the connection is made between the emotion and the unique stimulus. If the unique stimulus occurs again, the emotional state will then be triggered. NLP teaches that anchors such as a particular touch associated with a memory or state can be deliberately created and triggered to help people access resourceful or other targeted states. This anchoring appears to have been imported into NLP from family therapy as a part of the model of Virginia Satir. So they tell you that what they saying here, they said while in an emotional state, if a person is exposed to a unique stimulus, sight, sound, touch, then a connection is made between the emotion and the unique stimulus. So they telling you how to create bonds. That's what anchoring is, the practice of creating bonds through unique situations. You see what I'm saying? Through a touch, through an emotion, through a feeling, through a sight, through a sound. If I take you to the Eiffel Tower, the sight of the Eiffel Tower will always burn into your subconscious mind. If I take you to say the Baphomet, the sight of the Baphomet will be burned into your conscious mind. You see what I'm saying? If we go somewhere and you hear distinct sounds, you'll never forget those sounds because they was out of the ordinary. That's anchoring. Bonding you or bounding you to that particular experience through your senses. You see what I'm saying? Through your senses. So let's see here. Any more that I want to go over? Any more? Here go another one. They call this VKD. It stands for Visual Kinesthetic Disassociation. This is a technique designed to eliminate bad feelings associated with past events by rerunning like a film, sometimes in reverse. An associated mirror and disassociated state, it combines elements of Ericksonian techniques, spatial sorting process from Fritz Perls, reframing and changing history techniques. So it means they tell you like they can actually, there's actual techniques. Kinesthetic usually means sensory. You see what I'm saying? Kinesthetic is sensory techniques, what that allows you to disassociate yourself or withdraw your emotions from painful memories. You see what I'm saying? Or painful situations. And when you do that, that's actually a SIF technique. The SIF teach you to withdraw your emotions from painful situations. And when you absorb your emotions from that memory or whatever, that memory becomes hollowed out because it's your emotions that give your memories